work in the morning. What do I mean by this? Deep work in the morning. Oh my God, I'm just waking up, giving me deep work. What is all this? Well, deep work is a term I coined from Cal Newport's Deep Work, where he paints out 4 hours of time. He allots like about 3-4 hours of time in the morning where he delves into his highest priority task that is also his hardest task. So that's what I want you to do. And for a college student, what's a college student's hardest task? What's something a college student puts off? Studying. That's what I did is my deep work when I was in college. I would wake up at 5 a.m., I would go through my morning routines, and then I'd go to my little study area, and for the next 4 hours, I'd set an alarm for the end of the 4 hours, but for the next 4 hours, I would be working on my college classes. And maybe you're not in it for the college classes. Maybe you're watching this and you have a book you want to write. Well, allot time for that book, allot time for that writing, allot time for the startup of that business. But just make sure you're sitting through the time and doing the work that needs to be done and limiting your distractions. When you're doing deep work, you don't want your phone around. You want that put away. You want to be focused. You want to have the books out. You want to have the methods laid out. And I did the 4-hour deep work. Maybe deep work for you is an hour or 2 hours. Play with it. And you'll find that when you do this deep work in the morning, you'll get done with it, and the rest of the day will be a cakewalk. It will feel so good to have done this thing and overcome this thing that most people procrastinate. So when I was doing my deep work, I divided the hours into, I would focus 1 hour on one class, 1 hour on the next hour, and so on. And I would prioritize I would always do the hardest class first, and so on. Like the class for you that's like a cakewalk, the class for you where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't need to do anything. It's so easy A. That should be the last thing on your list. That should be the last on your to-do list. And maybe even prioritize those deep work hours. Maybe work on your hardest class for an hour and a half, and then an hour for the other class, and maybe 40 minutes for the next, and maybe 30 minutes for the least important. And it's important that you do this deep work every single day. What? Every single day? Yes, you heard me. Every single day. By doing this deep work every single day, you're developing a muscle where you're doing harder things earlier on in the morning. And if there's anything that pops up in your classes, like a quiz, a test, you have been preparing. You have the knowledge. And some things that I did in particular that really helped me in my deep work were studying the textbooks, studying what the professor gives out, the professor materials like homework, practice test, practice quiz. Practice test, practice quiz, probably the most important. Probably the most useful study tool you could use, because what do most of your grades rely on? Those tests and quizzes. And if your professor laid out a practice test and quiz for you, then it's essential that you're taking advantage of it and learning from it. And when you take it like you're taking an actual test. Put away the phones, put away the laptop, and take it, and then grade yourself. And then retake it, and keep doing that. Retake. It's all about those repetitions. And it's all about switching up your study materials as well. Because if you're just sticking to one study method, if all you do is read the textbook, you're not going to do good on the test, probably, unless you're really smart. I know I wasn't some IQ genius. I had to put in the work. And so the practice tests and quizzes. Another thing is the actual textbook reading the chapters. Try and read the chapters before the lectures you go to, so that way when you go to the lecture, it's stuff you already know and it sits well with you, and you'll be more engaged and more apt to participate in the class. Another thing to take advantage of during deep work is attending any tutoring sessions. If your professor offers any free kind of tutoring, or your school, take advantage of it. Even if you're getting A's in the class and it's easy, take advantage of it. Take advantage of the free resource of tutoring. Not only is it a good way to socialize and meet up with fellow classmates and have a fun time, you're also learning the material well, you're going through repetitions, and a lot of those tutors are connected with the professors and they know what's going to be on the test. A lot of these tutors have already taken the classes you're taking. So during that deep work, practice those tests, read the books, go to tutoring, and make flashcards and try to utilize different study techniques. And more importantly, when you're in that deep work period, do the deep work. So what I want you to do now is schedule a time for tomorrow where you're going to start the deep work, when you're going to start and when you're going to finish that deep work. I want you to work through each of your classes, or work on your personal project, like a book you're writing, whatever. Just do the deep work. And after you do that deep work, I want you to make a big check on your calendar and think to yourself, hey, I did it. I did the deep work. And I want you to feel that sense of gratitude after you've completed the deep work. A quick side note on deep work: do your deep works in the morning. Some of you might say, I'm a night owl, I grind, I do the deep work in the evenings. And yeah, some of you might try and work in the evenings, but you're really losing productivity by inhibiting your sleep in the evenings. And sometimes maybe you work a long day and you get to the evening and you don't want to do that work. By doing your deep work first thing in the morning, you are getting yourself on a roll where you're gaining momentum that's going to build and build and build into a raging fire throughout the day, and it's going to spread to everything else you do, and it's actually going to boost your accomplishments. So do the deep work in the morning, first thing after your morning routine. That is so important. Do the deep work in the morning. I'll talk to you in the next video. Peace.